Kildare, south of Dublin, we see the staple diet of our film crew, Guinness. But in the traditional, beautiful towns and villages like Naas and Newbridge, the Irish culture abounds as always. Lovely shop fronts, characteristic buildings, and a little bit of history that was once knocked about by Oliver Cromwell. Something else characteristic to Ireland, horse flesh. And here, the Curragh, the home of the Irish Derby, we're only a short canter away from another sort of horsepower. Mondello Park, motor racing circuit, the home of Irish motorsport.
On the start line, you obviously have to react in split a second. You've got about 150 meters up. You're pulling through first, second, third, left foot brake into the first corner. Then it's a climb, little climb up to the tarmac. You click fourth there and go over the sort of top. And then dive right down through the box. Third, second, let it roll halfway through the corner in second, click first, little blip out for the initial shootout. Second, third, and left foot brake it through the bumpy left-hander because you need to keep control so the back end is not stepping out. Then shoot fourth right down to the long hanging or deceptive right-hander, getting onto a deceptive bumpy gravel bend. Just flip through second, 7,500 RPM, third up to 9, fourth, and then brake for the first corner again.
A lap with Martin Skanker, and he makes it sound like a quiet Sunday afternoon drive, Arthur. Anyway, enough of Division 2 for the time being. We're going to take a look at the leaderboard now for Division 1. It's very close at the top. Gundersvan out in front ahead of Ivan Opland. Jos Kuipers in third position. Look at that, just 4 points separating them. Division 1 first heats then. Oliver Sass onto the grid alongside him, and we're on board the young German Jan Becker. There he is. Alongside him, Henning Solberg, and then Jan Willy Nordgaard takes up his place. Arthur is already in his place, ready to call this race.
Thank you, Freddie. Yes, indeed, we've got two of the young new boys in the sport, Solberg from Norway, and there is also Jan Becker from Germany, but on the outside nearest to the camera, making his first appearance on our screens this year, another young Norwegian driver, Jan Willy Nordgaard. But as they move away, we can see it's Jan Becker coming into an early lead from Solberg. Oliver Sass, the second of the Germans, tucking into third place there as they go around that right-hander, already a bit dusty here at Mondello Park, as the leader goes away onto the race circuit, quickly off the circuit racing area, back onto the Rallycross proper, back onto the loose, about the 40% split between loose and tarmac here at Mondello Park, 40% loose, 60% tarmac, as they come around that long right-hander that brings them back over the start-finish line area once again, and it is still Jan Becker from Solberg. Both of these young drivers driving at the Mondello Park circuit for the first time, and Sass, the third of the new boys there, going a bit wide out of the grandstand corner. They tuck right in here, very tight right-hander, lead back onto the loose. And Jan Becker, as you can see, has a very clear view of what's going on, but if he gets time to look in his mirrors, he will see that Henning Solberg is closing in very quickly there now. The young Norwegian Solberg coming in from Askim in Norway, coming through to challenge the young man from Hamburg, Jan Becker, but Becker it still is with the advantage in the Castrol Nissan. Lifting an inside rear wheel there as they dive around that tight right-hander. The hole in the hedge, it's nicknamed here at Mondello Park, because if you're watching from the start-finish area, they literally appear from behind the hedge back into your view. But everybody can see them clearly now as they come over the start-finish area. Once again, Jan Becker still with the advantage. Takes that advantage away, still from Henning Solberg. Solberg still there in second place. Sass dropping back a bit in third, can't quite get on terms with the race leaders, but Solberg putting a lot of pressure now onto Jan Becker, but Jan keeping that Nissan Sunny GTIR in front as they come through towards the completion of another lap. Solberg coming up on the inside, the challenge, can he do it? Can he do it as they come up towards us? It's a very close run thing, but indeed it is Jan Becker who takes that one from Henning Solberg.
And you can see after he crossed the line from the onboard camera there, Becker actually did do a spin, sort of victory spin in front of the grandstand. Right, let's move on then with more heats from Division 1 on the grid. We've got Solstrom, Carlson, Bardi and Kootenay.
good mixed bag here, Peter, and indeed Bardi knows this circuit very, very well indeed. Lots of success for him here in the British Championship runs, but as they come away, it looks like Courtney who may have got it. Courtney, I think, coming away, but no, it's Solstrom who's got it now. Solstrom leads. Solstrom leads. Where is Tony Bardi? Tony Bardi is down in 4th position. No, he's not. Tony Bardi's through into 2nd, surely. Yes, Tony Bardi from Scotch Corner, the British driver, making his first appearance in the EC this year. He's up into 2nd place. Ingvar Carlsen in 3rd with the Toyota Celica, and Pavel Koutny from the Czech Republic completes the quartet on what is now getting quite a dusty circuit out there, but it is indeed quite a comfortable lead now for Solstrom as he comes through. Bardi is still in 2nd place, dropping back a bit. Lasse Solstrom then from Sweden, getting away now from Tony Bardi, the British driver, with the second of the Nissan Sunny GTIRs that we've seen here this afternoon, but it's Solstrom leading it. Bardi still 2nd. And Ingvar Carlsen, the former rallyman, down there in 3rd place. Carlsen still really struggling to get on the pace as Bardi comes away comfortably in 2nd. We've lost Koutny. Pavel Koutny is gone, and Peter, you can see that these drivers are probably having a bit of trouble with the dust.
Well, Koutny having trouble with a puncture there, and he has to retire. Yes, Arthur, you'd be forgiven for thinking this was somewhere in southern Europe. There's so much dust and blue sky, and it's very, very hot too.
It is indeed. It's typically an Irish day, I would think you would call this, but it's a Solstrom day here at the moment. He still continues to lead Tony Bardi. And a very comfortable advantage he has now over the British driver. Carlsen coming into the action there in 3rd place, trying to challenge Tony Bardi, but at the flag it is indeed Solstrom takes that one from Bardi, with Ingvar Carlsen no better than 3rd.
It's going pretty good. It was 5th yesterday in qualifying, and today the first runs left us 7th, I believe. Very tight though.
Yes, you seem to be mixing it well with the regulars.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to mix it more often, but I think the Nissan is outlived its stay in Rallycross, but I'll fight a bit harder this afternoon. Opland is, well, he's in a different league, but there's the rest of us to make the fight.
Tell me, are you likely to appear again in the European round, or are you concentrating on the British Championship?
I would think I would do the German final round, because it has something very good at the end of the year. Good prize giving and obviously an odd Vino. Well, that's possibly the one for me, and I'd like to try and win the British Championship this year. It's a shame Nick isn't competing, but Richard Watts is going very well, so it's still a fight.
Well, this is a fight as well as we continue our Division 1 first heats. Opland in his Lancer, 2nd in the championships, and alongside him the man who is leading the Division 1 Championship leaderboard at the moment in his Toyota Celica, beautifully prepared, ex-ski racer Gunde Svan. And then alongside those two, we've got the RS Escort Cosworths of Leinemann and Hunsbed. It's going to be a tough one, this, Arthur.
Yeah, it is, Peter. The entry is a little bit smaller in Ireland because there is a meeting in Holland the same day, and that is where Kuipers with the 2nd of the Mitsubishi Lancers is at this moment. But it is Opland coming away then to take a comfortable lead. Opland going away from Gunde Svan in 2nd place, being challenged there by Leinemann, who gets a little bit of help, I think, from Hunsbet as they go through that first corner. But once again, the Mitsubishi Lancer then of Event Opland from Norway, getting away now from Gunde Svan. Yes, Jos Kuiper's not here today. In fact, we've only got one driver in this meeting from Belgium or the Netherlands, because, as I said, there is a big meeting over there in Valkenswaard this particular weekend, and I think a lot of these drivers with sponsorship deals are involved, that they do their national championships, and that's kept them away. So Opland could have an easy ride here with Jos Kuipers, our Brands Hatch winner, not with us. So let's see if Opland can build on this, and in fact build on this lead in the championship over Gunde Svan by the end of the afternoon. Gunde Svan still there in 2nd place though, keeping that Toyota Celica well in terms there with the Mitsubishi of Opland. The two Escort Cosworths once again beginning to feel their age. Tony Bardi was telling us that maybe the Nissan's run its life in European Rallycross. Well, we've said it before, it's beginning to look as though the Escort Cosworths may be heading in that direction as well, but meantime they're heading in the direction of the back end of the Toyota, which is having a big problem here now to hold them off, and that is allowing Opland to go well clear. We're concentrating on this battle now for 2nd, 3rd and 4th, with the runner-up in the championship last year in this category from Germany, Bernd Leinemann, having a look on the inside. Leinemann's going to do it. Leinemann through on the inside, and trying to go with him is Hunsbet. Hunsbet can't find a way through, and it is still Gunde Svan as they go on their last lap then. We know that Opland's going to win this one surely, and it looks as though Bernd Leinemann's going to come through into 2nd place. Who is going to be 3rd? Can Hunsbet get past Gunde Svan? This is not Vintage Gundusvan here at the moment. He must have got a problem with the car, I would think, but Opland takes this one. Opland quite clearly, and Leinemann comes through to get one of his better results of the year, and a very close run, and I think Hunsford may just have taken third.
Well, Gundusvan not looking comfortable at all there, but a very comfortable Evan Opland notches up the fastest time in the first heats with 2:24.13. After Brands Hatch, Kenneth Hansen having a great season ahead of Martin Skanker, who's had one or two problems, and then Jean-Luc Payet in third place, just 1 point between him and Skanker. Eklund, Will Gollop still looking to come on song in fifth place. So we're having a look now at the Division 2 first heats and the Audi of Tommy Christopherson. Arthur.
Yes, Tommy Christopherson, oh dear, look at that front wheel. It's got a broken front wheel and steering, I would think, and Tommy goes off into the gravel trap and tries to get himself out of it. Meantime, Sterling Anderson goes through with the 10-valve Audi as the tall man from Sweden walks away. Let's take another look at that one, and you can clearly see there, Peter, that he's lost his steering to the near side front corner.
Very dodgy stuff indeed, and he's having a very unfortunate season, isn't he?
Yes, he is. He's had a lot of problems with the car. When we spoke to him at Brands Hatch, he said we're spending more times in the garage than we are on the circuit. But now we've got a guy down there sitting on a hat trick, in a sense, because this is Jean-Luc Payet on the inside, who is sitting on 3 consecutive victories here at Mondello Park. Can he do it again this year? He's done it with the Citroen BX, he's done it with the Xantia. Now he's going to try and do it with the Xantia again this afternoon. So it is Jean-Luc Payet leading this one then. Jean-Luc Payet in the lead per Eklund, and also out there is number 21 there, that is John Haffey. John Haffey, it's good to see this young man from Portadown in Northern Ireland having his first taste of European Rallycross in this particular category, but it is Jean-Luc Payet leading in per Eklund in second place. John Haffey out there in very, very good company, and John Haffey keeping with them, but it's Jean-Luc leading with the 4x4 Turbo Xantia, then the Impreza of per Eklund, and John Haffey there in third place. Now, Peter, this is quite an interesting car, this one of John Haffey's. It was originally built for Pat Duran. It was driven in the Grand Prix 1994 by Tiffany Dell. It then moved into the hands of John Maloney from Limerick. He drove it 2 times in the British Championship, and now this young man from Portadown in Northern Ireland is doing so well in the British Championship with it himself.
It's been around in more senses than one.
It certainly has, and I think, no disrespect to the other people who've driven this car, it's probably now got one of the most promising young drivers in European Rallycross at the wheel. A young man who I would love to see do a full European Championship tour, John Haffey from Portadown. Meantime, we can see that Jean-Luc Payet has got his hands full of one certain Per Eklund here, and Per Eklund coming in to make this a really close one. Per Eklund really challenging Jean-Luc, teaming right in under the rear spoiler there of the Xantia as they come away out of that corner that leads up over the finish line, and Eklund drops a couple of wheels off onto the grass, but it doesn't cause him any problems. He still hangs in on there, and this is a really good race. Jean-Luc still leading it. They're beginning to leave John Haffey behind a bit. That is no disrespect to John Haffey, because he is in very, very elite company here. And Jean-Luc Payet, former European champion, going away on his last lap there with Per Eklund still breathing fire and brimstone right in there behind him. And Per Eklund making this a really good race again, dropping a couple of wheels off the island, but that doesn't bother him. He comes through, and as they come up to the flag, it's going to be Jean-Luc Payet, I think, coming through to take this one for France. Per Eklund from Sweden in second place, and John Haffey is not disgraced there with a pretty good third place.
So a good run there for the enigmatic Frenchman Jean-Luc Payet, who actually was glad to see the back of Brands Hatch. Although he managed the third place, he does feel it's got some bad luck hanging over for him. But the Citroen going well there, and here we see teammate Kenneth Hansen in his Citroen. This is the ZX this time, and interesting to note that Citroen Ireland are actually sponsoring this event, and they'll be in evidence in Division 2 and Division 3. Alongside Hansen, we have Skanker looking for a fast time here, and then Jernberg. Arthur.
Yes, well, Kenneth Hansen, like Jean-Luc Payet, also looking for a hat-trick to Peter, because he's looking for a hat-trick in this year's championship. Winner in Sweden, winner at Brands Hatch. Can he make it 3 in a row here by taking victory at Mondelo Park? But Martin Skanker has got other ideas. Martin Skanker coming away to lead this one from Kenneth Hansen in second place, Michael Jernberg in third. Jernberg, I think, is going to have a bit of a job to stay in terms with these 2 lead cars. So Martin Skanker is away. The flamboyant Norwegian leading the cool, calm and collected Swede. The second of the Swedes there in third place, Michael Jernberg, in what is basically a home-brewed Cosworth. He's down there in third. Kenneth Hansen in second, but Martin Skanker beginning to get away a little bit now with this dreadfully coloured car, I have to say. We may be in Ireland, but this isn't the green that we're used to seeing. And Martin Skanker leads it. Then we ride with Kenneth Hansen. There's Kenneth in the office. And there is Martin in his office. Left-hand drive, RS 2000, going away. That is not an Escort Cosworth, that is the RS 2000. A variation on a theme. And Kenneth Hansen still there in second place with the Citroen ZX. On board now with Martin Skanker. And we've got the cameras all over the place here today, giving us some really good action shots from inside the office of these guys. Martin Skanker it still is, though, from Kenneth Hansen. And if Martin can keep this form up throughout the course of the afternoon, he may be well on his way to a victory. Certainly looking good for a victory in this particular heat. This qualifying heat, fastest time, of course, would bring Martin 1 qualifying point. The less qualifying points you score in Europe, the better it is for you for the finals. And Martin Skanker looking to take fastest time of the day here if he possibly can on these first qualifying heats at the Mondello Park circuit. Once again, the County Kildare Motor Club doing a very, very good job of work here, keeping this meeting right on course on the time schedule, and so is Martin Skanker. He's right on the time schedule here as he goes into his last lap. Martin Skanker leading it from Kenneth Hansen. As we predicted, Michael Jernberg really has been left behind. You can just get a glimpse there of Michael. Shows just how hard it is, Peter, for the privateers, doesn't it?
Well, you really are dealing with world-class and fantastically prepared cars here, big budgets, and it's very difficult for the individual entries to compete at this sort of level.
It is.
Skanker's really found it here, Arthur.
Yes, he's got it. This is going to be Martin Skanker's victory, and that could be a very quick time. Will it be quicker than Jean-Luc Paya? But he takes victory from Kenneth Hansen.
And I can confirm it was a quick time, the fastest time of the day, 2:13.14 for Skanker.
We can see that in the last races that it has only been me and Martin in the top, and seems a little strange because a lot of the other competitors is going very well. So perhaps I don't hope that they will catch up, but it could be better for the sport, and if it's mixing more, it could be easier to count lower points also.
Once again, this morning we had one set of heats, and it's you and Martin together again.
Yeah, we started already from the first heat, and it was a good run. Martin was very quick, and I tried to follow him just some tenths of a second behind, and no big problem. So we try in the next heat also.
So the second heat, see a pair of Toyotas lined up on the grid there. That, of course, is Svan and Carlson. Alongside them, Hunsbeth. And then the final member of the grid is Holfield.
Yes, Helmut Hohlfeld should go well here because he is the reigning Mondello Park champion. The Irishman with the German name, but we've got the two Toyotas out together. What are they going to do? Are they going to take each other out? What's happening? Hunsbeth surely coming through on the inside. The two Toyotas have surely had to come in together. Hohlfeld's come up very, very strongly to challenge for second place, and he's got it. He's got it. Yes, Helmut Hohlfeld is into second place. The Killiney-based man who builds parts for Formula One cars. Let's hope and pray he's got some on the Jordans. Meantime, he's there in second place, and the two Toyotas have really pushed themselves out in that first corner. Well, that was, I think, a question of maybe one of them trying a little bit too hard and getting involved with the other one. But that's all to the good of the 1993 champion in this category, Ludwig Hunsbeth, because he now leads it. And the reigning Mondello Park champion in 1994-95 Winter Series, Helmut Hohlfeld, is in second place. Helmut there in second place, and I don't know where the Toyotas are, but they're certainly not in view. So Hunsbeth looks like having a pretty good ride here at the moment. And there are the two Toyotas, but as we saw on the first runs, Peter, I don't know if they're not suited to the circuit or what it is, but they're not having a good day.
Well, it must be I was going to say set up or something, but I think that's Svan just drove straight into the bank there. A bit of visibility problem as well, but really is a disastrous outing for both the Toyotas, and rather silly team-wise to create that sort of problem for yourselves at the outset of a heat like that, Arthur.
Yes, it is. We can see Carlson has survived, though. He's in third place, but it's Ludwig Hunsbeth then going away, the Norwegian garage proprietor. He leads this one from Helmut Hohlfeld there in second place, and there is 1-2-7 going across the grass, Ingvar Carlson. I think he's redesigning the Mondello Park circuit or something at the moment, so the Toyotas really are in trouble, and I think both of them have actually retired. No, they haven't. There's one still being lapped. Oh, my heavens. Well. And Hunsbeth it is. It's a very, very rare sight in Rallycross to see a driver being lapped without short three-lap qualifying heats, but Hunsbeth it is who takes the checkered flag, and Helmut Hohlfeld, well, he'll be pleased with that one.
Well, what an extraordinary state of affairs. Both Toyotas in all sorts of problems from just a few yards after the grid and not having a happy outing. Second heats continuing in Division 2, and here we have Jernberg. Alongside him, Haffey, Skogstad, and making up the final place on the grid, Anderson.
Yeah, well, John Haffey can feel a bit happier this time, I think. Peter, he's in with perhaps cars that he can be more competitive against. We also remember that John Haffey has taken a victory in European Rallycross, driving the Suzuki Swift that his father is driving here today. He won the small Group N category at Croft in the British Championship encounter last year. Can he win here at the moment? Any moment the lights go green, and it is indeed, I think, Jernberg making the best start. Jernberg gets away. Very close camera action there. John Haffey is in second place. Surely Skogstad coming up to third now, I think. Anderson dropping back to fourth. The all-plain white car there of John Haffey, prepared at Scotch Corner for him by Tony Bardi, are going away in second place. Now that car has been troubled in the past by the belt drive to the power steering pump continually wanting to come off, and I think that happened to John on the first qualifying heats. So that makes the car very, very heavy to drive, but John Haffey is in there now, and we have a very promising young Swedish driver and an equally promising young Irishman there in second place. And right there behind them is, of course, the winner in Portugal, Bjorn Skogstad, who since that victory has really been struggling to get on the pace. Number 8 there going through, Bjorn Skogstad still in third place. There is Michael Jernberg then coming through to take the checker flag very soon, I think. Michael Jernberg going down into the last corner on the last lap, and it is indeed going to be John Haffey in second place, I think, as they come through. Yes, indeed, it's going to be John Haffey taking second place. Jernberg is the winner with Skogstad in third.
And another disappointing Audi performance here, with Anderson nowhere to be seen after that incident at the start. We take a short break and come back with more action. Oak Island and a chance to speak to one of the elder statesmen of Irish motorsport, John Maloney.
Unfortunately, it's a bog standard rally car, and I'm out here in Division 1 purely for the fun and really enjoying it.
I was going to ask you if you were enjoying it.
Oh, it's fabulous. The weather is good, the crack is good, the club is good, the track is excellent. It's really smashing, and it's totally relaxing for me. There's no pressure. If I do well, it's a bonus. If I don't, they will say, well, Maloney's just driving a rally car today.
This class structure, do you think it's good for the sport if we get more of them in?
The Group N Division 1s, I don't think so. They're not a spectacle. There's no noise. If you could bring back a little bit of noise, like the Division 2 cars are super. They have noise limits, but they make noise, and the whish of the turbos as they go along. But the 1400s and the Group Ns, they could badly do with a bit of a jizz up, possibly a bit of noise.
A bit of a jizz up on this grid anyway, with Maloney, Miller, Coutney and Kittleson. Arthur, to be sure.
Right, let's see if John can jizz them up as they go away. Miller makes a very, very slow start. Who's going to go into the lead? Is it going to be Kittleson? No, it is not. It is Pavel Coutney from the Czech Republic who takes the lead. There indeed is Kittleson trying to get alongside him, but John Maloney coming away in third place. Is John Maloney going to improve upon that? No, he cannot. It is indeed Coutney who leads it from Kittleson. John Maloney in third place. Those three escorts. Oh, and we've got problems there, and the Czech Republican driver has spun out, and he rejoins in last place as Ivor Miller with the VW Golf GTI says thank you very much and goes through into third place, which leaves Gunnar Kittleson well clear up front, and he comes through to take victory with John Maloney there in second.
Well, he's well clear up front, but that's fourth fastest time for Gunnar Kittleson. That means he's had a fourth and a fifth fastest, and I don't think that's good enough to get him into the A final, where we have Opland sitting on pole, I think. Regardless of what happens in this next heat, with Holdfield, Ericsson, Norgard and Toomey on the grid. Arthur.
Yes, see what Kevin Toomey nearest the camera can do. Kevin Toomey going away, and 1-2-1 not getting away at all there. Jan Willy Nordgaard left on the start line. Now then, with the start line being actually on the race circuit here at Mondello, surely they will have to clear that car before they can come through on the next lap. There indeed is 120 Lasse Eriksson leading this race in what should be the last appearance for this car in European Rallycross. Lasse Eriksson leading it anyway as he goes away. Lasse Eriksson with the advantage up front. Lasse is indeed building an Escort Cosworth, and that should appear when we come back in Belgium in August. But meantime, he leads this race quite comfortably. There behind him once again, Helmut Holdfield going very well. Helmut Holdfield using local knowledge very well indeed here this afternoon, as Kevin Toomey holds that third place. The Cork man, now living in County Meath, going a bit agricultural there, and why shouldn't he? Because he sells agricultural tractors for a living. Meantime, our camera gets a close view of the action here, and I quite know what's happened, but meantime it's Lasse Eriksson being challenged now by Holdfield. Holdfield trying to go round the outside, can't do it, pays the price, goes too wide, gets out on the loose. Well, he was on the loose, but he gets on the very, very loose and fights back very quickly once again, and Lasse Eriksson it is, still with the advantage. Lasse there with the sweet bus entry, still leading local man Helmut Holdfield. As they come up towards the checkered flag, it's going to be a victory here, I think, for Lasse Eriksson it is. Lasse Eriksson comes up, takes the checkered flag, and another good run from Helmut Holdfield. And Helmut showing us just why he is the reigning Mondello Park champion. Some very good driving from him this weekend. And fellow Irishman Kevin Toomey going back to the paddock there in third place.
Well, we move up a gear to Division 2 and the third heats, and the characteristic colour of Skanker's car. Alongside him, Per Eklund, who's going really well here in Mondello this weekend, and their first view of Barry Squibb. Those are the three cars on the grid.
Yes, Barry Squibb running the same colour scheme, of course, as the Jeff Gordon NASCAR machine, and of course the same sponsors, DuPont Paints, and Barry Squibb it is who goes away, and Martin Skanker doesn't get off the line. Well, he does, but very, very slowly, and I would think Martin is destined for retirement here. Martin Skanker retires, yes indeed he does, and it is indeed surely going to be Barry Squibb who leads this one now from Per Eklund. Barry Squibb it is leading, Per Eklund in second place as they come away towards the completion of the lap round that long right-hander that brings them up onto the finish area here. You can see Barry Squibb leading this quite comfortably with the STP DuPont Paints entry. Barry Squibb leads it. The Clarion entry of Per Eklund fighting hard as ever there in second place. Barry Squibb from Torquay, still looking for that first ever victory in the European Rallycross, which we thought was probably going to come his way on home soil in the last round at Brands Hatch, but it didn't quite happen, and this very likeable man, very determined man goes away, still leading Per Eklund then. The Escort S-Track, as he likes to call it, because it runs the Mike Endine X-Track transmission, but I think there's a problem there for Barry Squibb. Oh yes, Barry Squibb pulls off, and Peter, it looked like something was coming out from underneath the engine to me.
Well, it certainly looked as if he's blown an engine or something, and I can confirm at this stage that Martin Skanker actually broke a throttle cable at the start. So that's Skanker and Squibb out, and he'll be very, very disappointed with that, Arthur.
He will indeed, so that just leaves Per Eklund to come through and win this race quite comfortably. He's out there totally unchallenged now, because his challenge is the clock. He's still racing against the clock. He's got to try and get the quickest possible time and take advantage of other drivers' misfortunes.
Well, I can confirm that Barry Squibb did blow up his engine, an expensive weekend for him over here in Ireland. As we move on to the Division 1 C final, and a pretty competitive grid as well, with Holdfield, Maloney, Eriksson, Bardi, Norgard and Toomey lined up for this one, Arthur.
All three Irish drivers in this one, Peter. Let's see if one of them can win it. And Holdfield surely has got to be the favourite, I would think, as they come away. Who is going to be in the lead into that first corner? Fighting it out through the dust clouds, and away we come, almost three abreast up towards our camera, and surely it is Helmut Holdfield, I think, who has got it, and John Maloney surely into second place. I think that's John Maloney in second place. It is indeed. In third place is Lasse Eriksson, then comes Tony Bardi, and we can see Kevin Toomey circulating at the back end of the order. Merging out of the dust and down towards us, Tony Bardi coming under a lot of pressure there from the Subaru, but Bardi still holding station. But this isn't quite as good a result as I thought Tony Bardi could achieve here at Mondello Park, and I think the Nissan beginning to feel its age in the heat, and indeed feeling its age there quite noticeably, and I think Tony Bardi is destined for retirement. But in the meantime, surely we have got up front the two Irish drivers, Helmut Holdfield, John Maloney. Jan-Willy Nordgaard is going very well also. He's coming up midfield. But there is Helmut Holdfield. A win here will put him onto the back of the B final. So Helmut Holdfield it is. John Maloney in second place. Then the battle going on between Eriksson and Nordgaard. We've lost Tony Bardi. Kevin Toomey circulating in fifth position now. There is our race leader then, Helmut Holdfield. Helmut Holdfield coming through, and I think it's going to be a place on the back of the B final for the man from Kildare, just south of Dublin, and the reigning Mondello Park champion then comes through to take victory, and it's an Irish 1-2 with John Maloney coming home in second place, and that's a good result for John. Third place goes to Nordgaard, just ahead of Eriksson, who was really being hounded at the end of it all by Kevin Toomey.
Well, the crowd enjoying that one, a little bit of partisan support and applause. as we have a look at confirmation of those results. Helmut Hohlfeld, as you said, in first, Maloney second, Jan-Billy Nordgaard third, Lasse Eriksson fourth, Kevin Toomey fifth, Tony Bardi ends up in sixth. So the Division 2C final now, and a rather depleted front row of the grid with a lonely Lloyd Spenlove, the Irish driver, in his Peugeot 205 two-wheel drive sitting on the front there. Tommy Graham behind him in the Ford Fiesta two-wheel drive, and alongside him, highly competitive when they get it all right, is Anders Nordstedt in the Saab, beautifully prepared. Arthur.
Green light, and watch the Irish drivers. 3 Irish drivers in this one, but Anders Nordstedt with the four-wheel drive car. In fact, I think the only four-wheel drive car in this race, coming away then with the Castrol Saab. Anders Nordstedt from Sweden leading this one quite comfortably. In second place, it is indeed young Lloyd Spenlove from County Wicklow. Then the man who lives nearly on the doorstep of Mondello Park, that's Tommy Graham, known as the People's Champion. They love Tommy Graham over here, and I can assure you that the grandstand will come alive if Lloyd Spenlove can get in front of the Saab. If an Irish driver can win this, the roof will probably come off that grandstand. But I think Anders Nordstedt should be in with a chance here of taking this one. Non-starter Bjorn Skogstad had a dreadful qualifying and a terminal problem with his car, so that's why he's not in this race. And that has handed victory, I would think, quite comfortably now to Anders Nordstedt, who is actually now on his last lap. Anders Nordstedt, Lloyd Spenlove still there in second place. Tommy Graham is third. Marcel Bearden is fourth. And Phil Armstrong, another very local man down there with a Peugeot 309, completes the 5 cars circulating the County Kildare Motor Club circuit at the moment. But not for much longer, because here comes our race leader and winner, and saluting the checkered flag, and a very popular win, I would think, therefore, Anders Nordstedt. And there is the Irish Challenge coming to an end with a second place there for Lloyd Spenlove.
Third place, Tommy Graham. There he is. He's been entertaining everybody this weekend tremendously and enjoying his Rallycross. Fourth place, Marcel Bearden. Fifth place goes to Philip Armstrong. Well, we move on to the Division 1B final. And on the grid, we've got Jan Becker there in front of you. Our camera's on board him. And just making sure he's exactly on the right millimetre is Gunnar Kittelsen. Had fairly lacklustre qualifying, but at least he is on the front row of the B final. And we hope the Gundersvan and the Toyota boys have got their troubles sorted out. And this is Oliver Sass and his escort, and they're making up the rest of the grid. We've got Hohlfeld and Pavel Kutny, who's had a puncture and a spin, so he'll be looking to at least get around this one, Arthur.
Yes, a lot of A finalists, so we would normally expect to see in a B final here, Peter, and it's Jan Becker leading them away. Jan Becker leads this one. Gundersvan is in a third place, and it looks as though Kutny might have made up a place there as they went into that first corner, but we're riding with Jan Becker. He heads the pack as they come up into the right-hander there. Gundersvan still in a third place, and remember, to get into the A final, you've got to win this one, and Jan Becker is the man who looks as though he might be going to do it at the moment. Jan Becker leading this one. Gunnar Kittelsen still there in second place. Gundersvan behind him. Then comes Kutny. Hohlfeld completing the order at the moment as they come through once again, and Svan pulling out to have a look. Gundersvan coming up to have a look for second place. Has he got it? Yes, he has. Gundersvan's got that second place from Gunnar Kittelsen. So, and now he's gone wide, and he surely lost it, I think. Kittelsen gets it back again, and now we've got Becker in trouble, and Kittelsen comes from third to first in one fell sweep, and Jan Becker, I think, has got a problem on his hands, and Gundersvan must be kicking himself. He went into the lead, went wide, lost the lead, and then not only did he drop back, but then Jan Becker had a problem, and Gunnar Kittelsen took the advantage. We're still riding with Jan Becker, but he's a long way back, and I don't know what the problem is, but the car seems to be handling problem by the way he's working on that steering wheel. But now as they come through, we can see Kutny is in third place, Sass is in fourth, but it's 108, Gunnar Kittelsen, the grand old man who we call him from Norway, as when that car goes past the unfortunate Jan Becker, and I think the young man from Hamburg has now dropped right to the tail end of the order. So Gundersvan a little bit out of luck here at the moment. Can he fight back? He's closing in once again on Gunnar Kittelsen. This is going to be a pretty close one to the flag, I would think, as they come through the twists and turns here of the County Kildare circuit. I can see just in front of them in there from that shot, some of the back markers are not that too far away. Will they play any part in the result of this race, I ask myself. Meantime, it is still Gunnar Kittelsen from Gundersvan. It's really between those two drivers now as they come away from the grandstand, up the short burst, into the hole in the hedge, flick right, round, back onto the loose very soon, where there's a right, a left, and then Another right-hand flick out of it, back onto the tarmac, and Gundersvan is right in there now with our race leader, Gunnar Kettleson. Can he find a way through? No, at the moment he cannot. Gunnar Kettleson still cool, calm and collected, and the former Olympic ski man there in second place. He pulls out to have another look. Now it's a power race up the hill, and he knows he hasn't got the power to do it, and he tucks back in again as he goes into his last lap, and that has cost him a couple of cars' lengths as they went away. There is Jan Becker, I think just about to call it a day. Yes, Jan Becker has now pulled off. We don't know what's wrong with his car, but he's well and truly out of this race. He will be classified 6th. But the man who's going to win it, I think, and maybe go through onto the back row of the A final is indeed Gunnar Kettleson. Gundersvan, this might cost him his lead of the championship, I would think. If he can't make the A final, surely he's going to lose his championship lead. And it is indeed Gunnar Kettleson taking this one. Gundersvan in second place. Pavel Kutny for the Czech Republic leads home. Oliver Sass with Helmut Hohlfeld in close attention.
Well, an expensive mistake there for Gundersvan, but it does make for exciting rallycross, Arthur. And here we see the confirmation of the B final Division 1 results. Jan Becker did in fact retire, we understand, with black box problems. Division 2 B finals with Per Eklund there on pole position. Alongside him we have Jernberg. The sun still streaming down here. Then Martin Iversen. We're on board with Per Eklund, and they're away, Arthur.
Barry Scribb missing from the front row of the grid, Peter, so yet another top runner non-starting this afternoon as Iversen goes through, and Eklund makes a very, very tardy start, and Michael Jernberg has a bit of a go at Iversen in that first corner, but Iversen withstands the pressure, and Martin Iversen comes away. Per Eklund has got going now, but he's down in third position only. Jernberg in the second, but it's Martin Iversen who is in the lead. Looked a very slow start there for Per Eklund. The car seemed to die on him on the start line, which is not an unusual occurrence here at Mondelo, because the Mondelo circuit certainly has got a lot of traction down there on the start line, and they find it difficult to spin their wheels at times. It's a very, very sticky start line, particularly I would think on a hot day like this. Meantime, it's Iversen leading with Jernberg there in second place, and John Happy's going very, very well indeed. John Happy is there in fourth place. Anders Nordstedt into the B final as well for the first time with the new Saab. But there indeed is Per Eklund. If you there, you can see John Happy right in there with them, and John Happy is right in with 3 of the best in Europe, and it's Norway's Martin Iversen leading from the Swedish duo of Jernberg and Eklund. Behind the Clarion car of Eklund comes young John Happy from Portadown in Northern Ireland. And he drops back just a bit as Eklund again drops a couple of wheels off the grass and has another look at Michael Jernberg. But Peter, I've been singing the praises of Michael Jernberg, and I think you've got to say that for a privateer, this lad is good.
He's in there, he's mixing it, he is just as competitive, and it just shows that if you pull the stops out, you can perform at that sort of level.
You can indeed, but this is the younger member of the Iversen family, Jan Arthur's son, Martin Iversen, then from Norway, leading this one and beginning to look quite comfortable, as Michael Jernberg really has got his mirrors full of this car, which is dancing around there, the Subaru Impreza of Per Eklund. John Happy behind them. That's between those 4 cars. Anders Nordstedt has been left well in their wake, but meantime Martin Iversen looking as though he may be heading for an A final here in Mondello Park this afternoon. Martin Iversen it is, son of the father and son team who have this big packaging company business in Norway, which provides the financial input into this very successful team. Michael Jernberg again, as you can see, Per Eklund trying all the time to get the Impreza through if he possibly can. Looks as though that steering wheel's going to come off in his hand any moment. Oh, heavens above, but they really are trying, and John Happy's hanging in on there well in 4th place. This is the B final, remember, and somebody here is going to make the cut into the top 6 and get into the A final. At the moment, that looks like being Martin Iversen. Still Eklund pressurising Michael Jernberg on this last lap. The Mondelo Park loose surface, as you can see, standing up to the traffic as well as ever. A little bit dusty, but no major problems for the drivers. And it is indeed still Martin Iversen with the pack behind him, closing a touch, still leading them though as they come through, and he makes a bit of a moment in that last corner. Can somebody get through? No, they don't think they can, and it's Iversen who takes it to go into the A final from Jernberg, and then Per Eklund, and John Happy is a very creditable 4th.
Well, good rallycross, and the pressure on from start line to checkered flag there. Iversen from Jernberg, Eklund in 3rd. So Division 3 A final now, and on the grid we've got a mixed bag: Novotny, Bergvall, Happy, Beck, Sherry, Boacek, Bales and Dalkin.
Yes, and Susan Bergvall was on pole, the reigning champion, but I think it's the winner from Brands Hatch in the previous meeting who's gone through into the lead. Pavel Novotny, I think, who leads, and there's a big sort out going on here in this first corner. Really can't see what's happening. I think Elliot Dalkin might have been involved in that, the young Newcastle driver with his Citroen AX. Simon Bales is also in this race, as is Cecil Haffey. Cecil Haffey, the father there in third place of young John Haffey. Simon Bales also going quite well in this race. I think Simon, in fact, was the fastest qualifier in one of the qualifying heats this afternoon, so he'll be very pleased with that one. And as they go on their way, it is still Novotny leading this one from Susan Bergvall. In third place, it is still indeed Cecil Haffey. Cecil Haffey, who won this particular event here at Mondello Park last year. He is there in third place. And this, of course, is with the Suzuki Swift. Manfred Beck coming up quite strongly. Beck, who was also one of the fastest in one of the qualifying heats this afternoon. They really are very closely matched. But Susan Bergvall, the reigning champion from Sweden, Kenneth Hansen's fiancé, there in the second place, as Austrian Manfred Beck puts a lot of pressure onto Portadown Cecil Haffey. Cecil there with the ex-circuit racing Suzuki Swift, which is prepared for him by Tony Bardi, and that car very comfortable leader of the British Championship, and has been almost unbeatable, was the winner of the British Championship meeting here at Mondello Park earlier this year. He's there in third place, but it's Novotny from the Czech Republic coming up to try and make it 2 in a row. Winner at Brands Hatch, leading now as Susan Bergvall still holds on to that second place. This is going to be the reigning champion's best result of the year if she can hold on to it. But there you can see in third place it is still Cecil Haffey with Manfred Beck behind him, Manfred Beck there, and then we've got Kevin Sherry, the reigning British champion in his Suzuki Swift. So the Suzuki's going quite well, and Kevin Sherry driving his car for the very first time this year. Man who wants to sell it. He is a Canadian, would you believe it? Lives in Northern Ireland, so a very international field here. But as Novotny from the Czech Republic gets away, there are 4 cars in there very close, and it's still Susan Bergvall leading this one from Cecil Haffey. Becky's having a look, and so is Kevin Sherry. Kevin Sherry, they're almost 4 abreast as they come up towards the camera, but Susan Bergvall has got it. Susan Bergvall from Cecil Haffey, Manfred Beck, and completing the order, Kevin Sherry. But Novotny is on his last lap and looking good for another win here. And the Czech Republic driver going very well indeed. Susan Bergvall cannot match him for pace, and it is indeed Pavel Novotny away in the very comfortable lead here as he rides around Mondello Park. Susan Bergvall still second, Cecil is third. There is Manfred Beck in fourth, Kevin Sherry is fifth. That looks like being the way they're going to finish this one as they come up into the region of the checkered flag, and Novotny makes it 2 in a row, and he will go to Belgium sitting on a hat-trick. Susan Bergvall is second, Cecil Haffey is third, and Manfred Beck holds off the attentions of Kevin Sherry.
Well, this 1400cc Cup providing excitement as always, especially when they come off the loose onto the tarmac for that start-finish straight, throws them up into the air. Confirmation of the results then. And that means we've now got a leaderboard. Manfred Beck takes over first place. Susan Bergvall moves up from 5th to 4th. Kokasso, who wasn't racing here, of course, is now in 2nd. Pavel Novotny, 3rd place. And Sven Siliger in 5th place. So we reach the halfway stage of the season and we're preparing for the Division 1A final. Let's take a look back at some of the action so far. So as we line up for the Division 1A final, it's scorching on the grid. We're going to see scorching performance from the Lancer of Opland on pole. Alongside him will be some tough competition from Solstrom, as always. Mr. Cool, Bernd Leinemann, sitting there as if it's midwinter. Doesn't seem to affect him at all. And then making up the rest of the grid, we got Ludwig Hunsbett and Gunnar Kittelsen. Solberg's got a problem, a bit of paper in his turbo. And I don't think he's going to get that cured in time. So the penultimate race, over to Arthur.
Yeah, we seem to be one down in all of our finals today. Peter, but doesn't seem to be taking anything away from the racing. And Solstrom makes a brilliant start there. Huntsbet gets left virtually on the grid, and it is indeed Solstrom who leads it. Solstrom, well, what a surprise. Solstrom leads this one from Opland in second place. Solstrom leads, but can Opland get through? Or surely he can. Opland, who has been fastest on his first and second qualifying heats, he sat the third heats out because he didn't need to. He'd already qualified for the whole of the A final with the fastest time of the day in qualifying in this category. But at the moment, he is down there in second position. Ludwig Hunsberg up to third place ahead of Bernd Leinemann, but it is still Lasse Solstrom leading this one. This is a big turnaround. This is a big surprise, and I think probably for the first time here at a long time, we are seeing an Escort Cosworth leading an A final. But for how much longer, I ask myself, because surely Opland is coming through now. He is. Opland is through. Ivan Opland from Norway goes ahead of Sweden's Lasse Solstrom. Hunsberg is right there in a third place. Then comes Bernd Leinemann. Gunnar Kittelsen completes the order with, of course, Henning Solberg will be classified sixth, the non-starter. So it is indeed Opland with the only Mitsubishi Lancer here this weekend, going very well indeed. We are on board with Ludwig Hunsberg there. Ludwig Hunsberg at the moment still down in a third position. Solstrom still waves his mud flaps in second place. Kittelsen closing there in fourth. Those four cars not that far apart. The three Escort Cosworths chasing hard on this Mitsubishi Lancer of Ivan Opland, and the win here today is surely going to put Opland back into the lead of the championship, I would think. And Gunde Svan, of course, is going to have to wait for the break now to Belgium to try and regain that lead in the series if he possibly can. Remember, it's 8 rounds to count, but Opland was excluded from an earlier round for a technical infringement. He has to include that in his score, so theoretically, for this man leading this race, this year it is a 7-round championship because he must count the no score for the exclusion in those best 8 performances. So that's why Opland has got to win if he possibly can, whenever he can. And he is doing that in fine style here at the moment. You can see a little bit of damage to the front end of the car after that first lap, when I think maybe he had a bit of a coming together with the car that's now placed there in second place. But 4 cars well clear now. 4 cars well clear. Solstrom still there in second place, Hunsberg in third, Leinemann fourth. And Gunnar Kittelsen, I think, has retired from this race. I can't see anything of Gunnar at the moment. But there is his fellow countryman then, Opland, who has been around the European Rallycross scene for a number of years now, and looking as though he may well be on his way this year to his first ever European Championship title. Opland it is. Solstrom still second, Hunsberg third, Leinemann fourth. Leinemann, the man who comes through to take fourth place, chased Richard Hutton to the championship last year, but has to content himself with a subdued fourth place on this occasion.
So let's look at confirmation of those results. Opland from Solstrom, from Hunsberg, Leinemann, Kittelsen and Solberg, in fact, retired. So Evan Opland on his celebratory lap, and he has cause to celebrate because he now moves into the lead of the championship ahead of Gunde Svan. Jos Kuipers in third place, Lars Solstrom fourth. And now for the big one, Division 2 A final. Kristoffersen has actually repaired his steering arm that was broken, and he's now out there and going to prove some things. The Citroën of Jean-Luc Payet takes his position on the grid. Ireland Citroën written all down the side. We're on board with Kristoffersen. I don't know whether he's testing his steering, Arthur, or whether he's warming his tyres up there.
A bit of both, I think, Peter.
Up in front we can see Martin Skanker with the door open, and alongside to the right there we have Will Gollop. This is the big one, Arthur.
Yeah, this is the chance where someone can get their first victory of the year, or maybe Martin's going to get his second, or perhaps Kenneth is going to get his third. Let's wait and see. And it is indeed Kenneth Hansen who brings the Citroën ZX away. Martin Skanker into second place, and as they all come tumbling through, Tommy Kristoffersen made a very bad start. Tommy Kristoffersen making a very bad start, and Will Gollop is third. Jean-Luc Payet is fourth. Jean-Luc fourth, the winner here for the last 2 years in fourth place, but it's the Citroën up front, and it's Kenneth Hansen going away. Martin Skanker is hot foot behind him. Will Gollop looking for his first victory of the year, and indeed his first victory in Europe since the demise of the Group B cars. He's there in third place, already getting left behind, but being hounded all the way by Jean-Luc Payet. And Will and Jean-Luc taking very different lines up that finish area. As the dust clouds come up, it's getting a bit difficult to see what's coming up behind, but there indeed is Martin Skanker. Martin will want to stay right in close behind Kenneth, because that will allow him to sort of trap the rising dust from Kenneth's car underneath the Escort and keep his visibility clear. No visibility problems on the tarmac, obviously, but the only visibility problem that Martin Skanker has got is that he has got certain Citroen of Kenneth Hansen in front of him. And Kenneth looking very good at the moment. Jean-Luc doing everything he can and a little bit more to get past Will Gollop, but Will keeping the Cliff Humphreys powered Silkaline Lubricants Alpha Metals car there in third place. And we can see a good battle going on behind between Tommy Christopherson and the winner of the B final, Martin Everson. We ride with Tommy Christopherson, and as you can see from his cockpit, it's not too easy to see when there's a car just in front of you. But Kenneth Hansen looking pretty good at the moment, and Kenneth sitting on a hat-trick then. Winner in Sweden, winner in Britain, and now looking to be the winner in Ireland. Kenneth Hansen getting away now from Martin Skanker, really putting daylight between the two of them, and Will Gollop still fending off the attention of Jean-Luc Paglia. We have got virtually 3 races in one here, Peter, at the moment, with a lot of dust in between them.
Well, it's extraordinary. Oh, well, there's Gollop, and they've solved a lot of the problems. He had a lot of misfiring problems, you'll remember, at Brands Hatch, and couldn't get revs up on the grid. Seems to have sorted those out today, but is no match for Skanker or Hansen. The Citroen absolutely impeccably performing here. Christopherson right up the back end, giving us some good camera shots here, but not a lot else at the moment for Tommy.
No, it's nice to see Tommy at least in an A final and getting reliability from what is potentially the fastest and most powerful car in the category. But there you can see a very, very sideways Martin Skanker. Martin is giving it everything, or has he got a problem? Yes, he has. Look, the near side rear tyre is down. Can Martin hang on to that second place now? He's got almost a lap to go. Can he hang on to second? Will Gollop will be looking for a second place, and if he gets it, that will be Will Gollop's best result of the season, and I think it'll be his best result, as I said, since the aforementioned days of the Group B cars. So Will surely looking for a second place now. He can surely sense that Martin's got a problem. Martin Skanker hanging on. They're coming through that final corner up towards the checkered flag. Jean-Luc is still hanging on there. Can he take third place? There is Kenneth Hansen, a very, very clear winner, but who is going to be second? They're trying to come through abreast. Can Will Gollop come through on the inside and snatch second place? I think he might. I think Will Gollop has got it, but it's a very close fought thing, and Martin hangs on to, I think, third place. Jean-Luc is definitely fourth, but no doubt about it, the hat-trick for Kenneth Hansen.
Well, poor old Martin Skanker, a broken throttle cable and then a puncture. Not a lucky weekend for him, but look at that smiling faith of Kenneth Hansen. What great teamwork has gone to put him on the top of the podium for the 3rd time this season. And it's great to see Will up there. So confirmation of the results. Christopherson 6th, Iverson 5th, Jean-Luc Paglia 4th, Skanker 3rd, and you know the top results. Now then, let's have a look at the leaderboard. Nothing has changed that much, except that Kenneth Hansen has increased his lead to 27 points. Will Gollop moves up to 4th, and Per Eklund drops down to 5th. Well, that's about it until August, when we